Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Paul, the Canadian Snowman, here with Hannibal. Battle of Lake Trasimene, 217 BC. And yeah, we just had a big boat heist in the previous episode. Rome decided it needed more ships, and yeah, Carthaginians, I'm sorry, not pronouncing it right, said, sure, just take our ships, just leave us alone. And so that's exactly what happened. The Carthage just left their ships on the beach, and Rome said, thank you. And so now Rome is in control of all the cruises. And that's kind of like where we're at right now. And Rome controls the coast. And it's kind of amazing how things have changed and from one Punic War to the next, because it those for those of you who've already seen the first Punic War, or just I don't know, just know the history of it. Carthage, was very advanced. Like, they were far ahead of the Romans when it comes to ships and tactics at sea. And it seems like almost like basically, you think about it in a short period of time, it's kind of flip flopped right now. Um, Rome has definitely come a long way since then, and now they pretty much have the power of the sea. At least in that part of the world, at least near the Spain coast, they do, because uh, yeah, definitely improved a lot. And I like to also say shout out to the or like legionnaires, that's what they called, the Roman infantry. They came in real big here. They were outnumbered, and yeah, they're just, I guess, they're kind of a lot better, I guess, at close quarters combat when it's kind of like head on kind of thing, I guess. I'm guessing they're just better trained and probably have better armor as well. So I'm sure that helped it a lot. And that definitely showed this last episode. And actually, I think it showed the episode before, even though Hannibal, a couple episodes ago, Hannibal came out of the trees and won it. Uh, the middle infantry was pushing through Hannibal's lines, and it would have made it, and would have been disastrous for Hannibal if he did not have the cool tactics that he has and was able to flank him from behind. So I'm just going to say a shout out to the infantry of Rome. Uh, and so, yeah, that's kind of a little bit of backstory we got going on right now. Trying to think of anything else really that'd be cool to point out here. No, just that Rome's got some new ships, and they didn't have to do much to get them. And I wonder if Carthage is going to make more ships. I wonder if they're going to come back on the seas, because you kind of have to, right? Like, you kind of have to have some control of the seas when it comes to war, because you need supplies, and that's just the fastest, easiest way to do it. So I wonder if they'll make a comeback there. I'm not sure. But this is the Battle of Lake Trasimene. Yeah, something like that. Of the lake. I wonder if we're going to go back to Hannibal. I'm not sure where this location is. So we're going to go back to Hannibal and see a battle with him, or if we're going to stay in Spain. I have no idea. No idea. But I'm sure some of you have no idea too. But most of you probably do know. But yeah. I think that's all I have to say right now. I think so. Anyways, please hit that like and subscribe if you're new here. And if you're new here, I would definitely suggest to start from the beginning of this series. And yeah, let's jump to it. We do a lot of cool stuff here, and a lot of cool people in the comments that know a lot about this stuff. So I really appreciate you guys in the comments who kind of like tell me this awesome info that I don't know about. Little tidbits you guys like to tell me. So I really do appreciate that little community down there. Anyways, guys, we're on part 6, guys. Man, it's part 6 already. I feel like we're flying through these, haven't we? Yeah. I mean, I was thinking, forgetting to say something. But anyways, 3, 2, 1, bam. Oh yeah. No. Hold on. What am I doing? We're also watching History March, so definitely a shout out to them. And I know I say like and subscribe to me. You should definitely subscribe to them too, because they help me out with content that we're using right now. So yeah, definitely you have time, you go ahead and do that too, and then you also basically look around and see maybe for future videos to suggest. Anyways, let's get to the video. Here we go. Hannibal. Hope we get back to Hannibal, man. I love the his tactics and stuff, man. It's pretty cool.
The defeat at Trebia struck fear into the Roman leadership. The Republic lost all control over Cisalpine Gaul.
Wow.
Hannibal succeeded in bringing Gauls to his side, nearly doubling his army. 40,000 infantry and 10,000 cavalry are now under his command.
Nice.
But before Hannibal resumes his attack on Rome, I want to give a shout out for CuriosityStream. They've recently become one of my favorite streaming services, a place that allows me to access thousands of high-quality, still shocked CuriosityStream. Faced with the Gallic uprising in Cisalpine Gaul, and still shocked by the loss of tens of thousands of troops at Trebia, the Roman Senate is determined to turn things around in 217 BC. Amidst the political turmoil, 2 new consuls are elected and sent north against Hannibal with newly raised armies. Other theatres of war are not ignored, evident by the victory against the Carthaginians at the Ebro and the planned reinforcements set for Iberia later in the year. But the main focus of the Roman war effort is on home soil. The plan is to use the geography of the Italian peninsula to their advantage. With the vast marshlands of the Arno River in the west thought to be impassable during winter and spring, and the rugged Apennine mountain range cutting across the peninsula, the Romans know that there are only 2 routes into central Italy that Hannibal can take, and they move to block both. Consul Gaius Flaminius positions his army at Arretium, including the 10,000 legionaries that survived the Battle of Trebia. His co-consul, Gnaeus Servilius Geminus, is stationed at Ariminium. Both armies are bolstered with a higher number of horsemen than usual, perhaps to offset their...
I'm sorry, I just interrupted him, I know, but I was saying, maybe obviously he's going to be careful. I mean, the guy is a genius at war. But I was like, oh man, I feel like it depends on which way he goes. Rome might get him from behind. Like, he goes through the mountains here, then this guy comes up behind him, and then you're stuck between 2 armies in the mountains. And if he goes this way, then his army might come up here and get him from behind too. So, I'm interested to see how he plays this. Anyways, back to it.
Armies are bolstered with a higher number of horsemen than usual, perhaps to offset their numerical inferiority in cavalry. Hannibal, meanwhile, has problems of his own. While he did establish a base of operations in the Po Valley, Gallic support will weaken over time as his army continues to consume their resources. At the same time, the Romans decided not to pursue further battles in the north, so staying there makes little sense for Hannibal. He needs to put pressure on the Romans before his Gallic allies lose interest in the war. Just like the Senate, Hannibal knows that he can either go down the Adriatic coast and fight Servilius in the rugged terrain of Picenum, or he can fight Flaminius in the difficult Apennine mountain passes. Neither route is good. Whichever he chose, not only would the Romans be alerted about his movement ahead of time, but he would be forced into a prolonged and uncertain battle against the well-defended Roman positions, which would allow time for the 2 consular armies to link up, something that Hannibal can ill afford. But with the arrival of warm spring weather, the Carthaginian general does the unexpected. He decides to force march his army across the Apennine Mountains and through the dangerous marshlands of the Arno River, aiming to surprise the 2 consuls and get into a good position to threaten Rome itself. The plan is arguably just as audacious as was the crossing of the Alps.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
The march is extremely difficult. Hannibal places his most disciplined infantry, the hard-marching Libyans and Iberians, at the head of the column. They set a fast pace, which the Gauls find difficult to maintain, as they are not used to forced marches. And by being at the back of the column, they face the added difficulty of having to march through the sticky quagmire that has been churned up by the troops in front of them. The cavalry is in the rear of the column, ushering the Gauls forward and keeping an eye on any who might decide to turn back. The terrain, however, is the army's biggest enemy. The Arno River flooded after winter rains, turning the river basin into heavily flooded, muddy wetlands.
Man.
The endless, dense swampland offers almost no dry areas for resting. Hannibal's troops wade through deep pools of water for 4 days and 3 nights, with almost no sleep and no rest, whilst carrying...
So basically, are they like walking through like obviously marshes, like knee and like waist high? Like, man, that would suck. Man, there would be like leeches and everything in there, man. For 4 days, that'd be some rough walking, man. You got credit to the troops because, they're annoyed and aggravated. They probably like, man, like, hell with this. This is go back home. The Gauls thinking that, like, because this is not what we signed up for. We want to fight, not, go swimming in a swamp here. So, man, that's got to be rough. But, it's better than, obviously, like they said, Rome's going to be all in a fortified position no matter which way they go. And so, as you can't blame them for making the effort. They're going through the Alps, not the Alps, but, the mountains, and, can't be any worse, so let's see how this kind of works out for them.
Days and 3 nights with almost no sleep and no rest, whilst carrying their heavy equipment and supplies. Those fortunate enough to be mounted are able to sleep in their saddles, while a handful of those on foot manage to climb onto the bodies of dead horses and pack animals for a brief rest.
Damn!
Many die due to infection, disease, exhaustion and drowning. Hannibal himself catches an eye infection which cannot be treated because there is no time during the forced march, and he carries the infection for much of the journey, eventually losing sight in one eye.
Wow.
He emerges from the swamp on the back of his sole surviving elephant, probably the brave Syrian. All the while, the Romans assumed that Hannibal is contained in the north. But what they didn't know is that the Carthaginian general managed to cross the Apennine Mountains and the Arno River wetlands with 50,000 troops in just 4 days, without being detected, and is now in position for the next stage of his campaign. He grants his army a few days to rest and sends scouting parties south. He learns that Flaminius is at Arretium, and that the Etrurian plain can offer enough food and plunder to boost the morale of the troops.
Okay.
Having learned that Flaminius is an arrogant and rash commander, he plans to provoke him into giving battle by pillaging and burning the rich Etrurian countryside. Soon enough, plumes of smoke from burning villages and fields dot the lands west of Arretium, followed by the Carthaginian column passing right next to Flaminius, brazenly taunting the Roman general. Watching from Arretium, Flaminius is fuming, knowing that it is he who is supposed to protect these lands, and yet one of the richest areas in Italy is burning on his watch.
Dang.
But he somehow resists challenging the Carthaginian general, persuaded by his advisors to stay put and wait until Servilius joins him. Unable to force an open battle, for Hannibal, an assault on Arretium is out of the question.
Right.
He cannot risk losing too many of his experienced soldiers that he cannot replace. His army also has limited supplies and has to keep moving. Furthermore, Hannibal has no way of knowing how far the other Roman army is, and as far as he knows, Servilius could be arriving any day now.
Is he like right now like south of both the armies? Couldn't he like do like a forced march and just like right here like walk straight to Rome? Because there was like no armies between him and Rome. Is that like a possibility? I don't know.
Roman army is, and as far as he knows, Servilius could be arriving any day now. So, the Carthaginian general decides to press on. Leaving not one, but two armies in his rear must have seemed mad. But actually, by bypassing Arretium, Hannibal maintains the initiative and keeps the Romans guessing. He wants to be the one who dictates the course of the campaign. Scouts soon bring good news. Flaminius decided not to wait for Servilius after all. Knowing that the battle is soon coming, Hannibal makes sure to let his Gallic troops know that they will be fighting against Flaminius, the man who caused them much misery in years past. Flaminius is renowned for his victories against Gallic tribes. He is responsible for introducing a law that allowed Romans to settle near and on Gallic lands. This created conflict, which Flaminius resolved by invading and occupying more Gallic lands, and then proceeded to settle more Romans on the lands he conquered. Needless to say, he is hated by the Gauls, and the 17,000 of them in Hannibal's army can't wait to get their hands on him.
Nice.
Meanwhile, for the Roman army that prides itself on its military prowess, it must be humiliating to pass through villages and countryside laid waste by the enemy. But Flaminius can still redeem himself, and he is only one day's march away. It's early morning, on June 24th, 217 BC. Flaminius marches out of his camp towards the smoke rising in the distance, apparently from Carthaginian campfires.
Man, I'm just thinking like, I think Hannibal thinks he has him right where he wants him. Like, man, I think like I said, Hannibal's guy. He has what he wants, a one-on-one battle. He doesn't have the other army here, and this is. I'm predicting it already. This is definitely Hannibal's. Hannibal's gonna win this. I honestly don't think it's gonna be even close. Just because Hannibal's got picked the battleground, and he's only facing half basically the Roman army. So I think it's just a matter of how fast and just basically the percentage wise of like who has the most death. I obviously think that the Romans are gonna have the most death in this, since I think Hannibal's gonna win this battle. But I guess like, but by how many though? But dang, because we're at the lake here now, so I wonder how this is gonna play out. Is he gonna sit back and wait for him to come, or take the initiative and come out after him? I don't know, but Hannibal's definitely got him where he wants him, and yeah.
Towards the smoke rising in the distance, apparently from Carthaginian campfires, eager to get to grips with the enemy. In the front, he places veteran legionaries that survived the Battle of Trebia, who are also very keen on meeting the enemy in battle. As the column moves, a low-hanging mist envelops the lake and the valley. The shoreline is eerily quiet. The locals seem to have vanished.
Uh-oh.
Unable to see too far ahead, the Romans literally stumble into Hannibal's heavy infantry, who are blocking the road. Fighting spontaneously erupts at the far end of the valley. Despite being surprised by the enemy, the Roman vanguard forms up in battle formation. Further back, it is some time before the Roman centre and rear realise what is happening in the front. The visibility is hampered by the low-hanging morning mist. But in the hills above the mist, Hannibal's hidden troops can clearly see the Roman column.
I was gonna say that too. I'm like, hold on a second, because like the legionaries or the infantry of Rome is really good. I'm like, Hannibal is not just gonna like. I was like, this is way too simple here. Like, right before they said it, I was gonna pause it and say it. He's got to have everyone in the trees here. I mean, knowing Hannibal, how he loves to flank people. Oh wow, man! All these guys are gonna like run down and push them into the river because their backs are against the walls now. And dang, I wonder how this is gonna play out. Dun, dun, dun. This is cool.
The mist, Hannibal's hidden troops can clearly see the Roman column. Although they do not know it yet, the Romans walked straight into an ambush. But let's take a moment to consider how difficult it was to set up the ambush at Lake Trasimene. Hannibal couldn't just send his troops up the hill to their positions. That would have left tracks all across the hillside. And with Flaminius hot on his heels, he didn't have much time either. Yet, Hannibal marched to the eastern end of the valley and somehow managed to coordinate tens of thousands of troops around the hills to the north into their correct positions at night, all within a brief window of time and without arousing any suspicion.
Wow.
This is without doubt quite an astonishing military feat.
That is pretty amazing when they talk about it like that. Like, at nighttime, up the mountains, and all those troops against that, like, almost like a perfect line, man. Like, Hannibal, like, his officers below him that, that work with him, they must know exactly what Hannibal's thinking and talking about too. They all must be on the same page because Hannibal can't do it all on his own. So his officers that are under him that that are there, that they must just know what Hannibal's thinking and exactly what he wants and everything. And wow, when you think about it like that, especially back then where the communication was just like letters and word of mouth, that's pretty amazing.
Without doubt, quite an astonishing military feat.
Right.
Now, Hannibal signals his hidden forces to attack. It's unclear if trumpets signaled the start of the attack, or if his captains were ordered to wait until the Romans were deep enough into the valley. Whatever the case, the ambush succeeds completely. The use of campfires in the distance tricked the Romans into moving deep into the valley, thinking that the Carthaginians are further ahead. And by masterfully hiding tens of thousands of his troops in the hills, Hannibal completely surrounded the enemy.
Nice.
Coming seemingly out of nowhere, Numidian cavalry and Gallic heavy infantry engaged the Roman rear, closing off their line of retreat. Hannibal's light infantry, skirmishers, and Gallic heavy infantry clash with the Roman centre. Having previously marched in a very loose formation, Flaminius' army is caught completely by surprise. They soon find themselves in a fight for their life. The formations break up, and many soldiers are left to fend for themselves. The fighting is so fierce that none of the combatants notice a strong nearby earthquake. After less than an hour of fighting, Hannibal's troops split apart the disorganized enemy column. From this point on, the battle becomes a slaughter.
Wow.
Numidians and Gauls overwhelmed the Roman rear, forcing them all the way to the lake shore. Many tried to swim in their heavy armor, desperate to get away. According to Polybius, many Romans drowned in the lake, while others who managed to stay afloat beg for mercy, but are killed.
I'm going to say because, like you see the movies, their armor, right? That's got to be at least 50 pounds, at least. And imagine just trying to, basically, like, if you got like one of those big sack of potatoes, imagine trying to swim with that on your back, man. That'd be so hard, man. And then you're trying to swim with guys trying to hack at you from behind. Man, that'd be rough. Like, where are you going to go to, man? Oh, man, that's rough. Genius, though, man. That's like slaughter. Well, let's see, man. Let's see. Maybe Roman can maybe just some kind of comeback here. Maybe a little bit. Maybe.
Drowned in the lake, while others who managed to stay afloat beg for mercy, but are killed there and then.
Damn.
The Roman centre fights a brave last stand. But after another 2 hours of fighting, most of Flaminius' men are cut down, while others drown in the lake as they try to swim away. According to legend, the Roman consul is recognized amidst the fighting, and the enraged Gauls fight to get to him. The consul's best troops rally to protect him.
Wow.
But one of the Gallic warriors fights his way through and thrusts his spear into the consul, killing him.
Damn.
Meanwhile, the Roman vanguard still stands firm. Once they realize that the battle is lost, they start fighting their way through Hannibal's heavy infantry, desperate to escape the field. but they too would be captured within a day or two after the battle. In less than 3 hours of fighting, a whole Roman army is virtually wiped out. It is said that Flaminius's body was torn to pieces by Gallic soldiers, so much so that Hannibal was not able to find any trace of the consul after the battle to give him a proper burial. Carthaginian losses, meanwhile, are minor. Large plunder is taken, especially military equipment. Hannibal re-equips his infantry. Each man is given Roman mail, a bronze helmet, and an oval scutum infantry. Each man is...
So, wow, 15,000 dead, 15,000 captured. Consul is just destroyed. And then Carthage, Hannibal's men, 1,500 to 20, like that as a massacre, like that. When I was talking about it, was pretty sure Hannibal was going to win just because, the battle was on his terms. But man, that was a lot better than I was thinking, way better. So, wow, that's impressive, man. Like he must have had those Gauls hyped up, man. Because he had the Gauls hating him. So they were fighting. We're gonna get to you. It's like you take over our lands. Guess what's gonna happen next, man? You're gone. So that was a cool guy. That was a cool battle right there. And that was what was I saying? I was handing out here, everybody. Take a souvenir. Here's a Roman shield or something. I don't know.
Is given Roman mail, a bronze helmet, and an oval scutum shield. Within a few days, the Romans suffer another disastrous loss. As Servilius was on the move to join Flaminius, he hurriedly sent all of his 4,000 cavalry ahead of the army to help his co-consul. Hannibal learned of their movement even before Servilius knew about Flaminius's defeat. Hannibal, Hannibal's second in command, rode out to meet them, launching a surprise attack. Those who survived were captured.
Wow.
By eliminating Servilius's cavalry, Hannibal effectively neutralized his entire consular army. Few, if any, commanders have been able to match Hannibal's ambush at Lake Trasimene, where one entire army ambushed and effectively destroyed another entire army.
Wow.
The population of Rome fell into utter despair, as Lake Trasimene is not far, and it seems like there is nothing that can stop Hannibal from attacking the city, as Servilius had to withdraw back to Ariminum to counter the Gauls, who, encouraged by Hannibal's presence, aggressively began raiding Roman territory. In this time of crisis, the Senate appoints a dictator, a certain Fabius Maximus, to coordinate the defense against Hannibal. But more on that in the next episode.
Wow. So, because I don't know history, I don't know if a foreign army has marched on Rome before. But man, it doesn't seem like much can stop, Hannibal from reaching Rome. The only thing I can think of right now is he tries to march on Rome and then they get stopped by an army. And then this army ends up, getting through the mountains here and then getting from behind, and there's it'd be too many men to deal with, and then Hannibal's has to make a little bit of a retreat. I have no idea. I'm just kind of throwing that out there, but wow. Hold on a second. Let's see if we're having more little cool notes at the end here. Here we go. All right. Flaminius pursued Hannibal despite being outnumbered, possibly because the intelligence he had was outdated and he wasn't aware that many thousands of Gauls joined Hannibal after Trebia. So yeah, apparently the intelligence, Rome didn't know basically the size of Hannibal's army, and they just thought, it should maybe it wouldn't be that too tough, I guess, to beat him. Water level of Lake Trasimene was higher in 217 BC than it is today, which narrowed the valley, making it suitable for a large-scale ambush. Yeah, so he had less slain. Instead of having maybe 10 people wide walking along, the lake. it might only been like a, 2 or 3, a long stretched line, and so it would have been a lot easier, to push, the Roman army back. Hannibal most likely used his fast moving cavalry to clear the villages in the valley before the locals could inform the Roman army of what was happening. Yeah, so basically sent his cavalry ahead, basically slaughtering the villages and making sure no one could spread word. So, damn poor people, he probably didn't leave anyone alive going through those villages because he didn't want, just, someone sneaking away to tell the Romans. But wow, man. And then he made like, he knew that the cavalry was coming from the other army through the mountains there, and he ambushed them. Like, that's insane. Like, his intel has been pretty spot on so far. So wow. Wow. And it's like, it's times like these though, when something's going too good, like stuff is always too good to be true. Like every time I expect this is an awesome battle and a massacre, but it's like always the next one, like usually the opposing team bounces back. Like they learn from their mistakes and then they're ready, and because they don't want, and they're really safe about it. They don't want to, repeat those mistakes. So I think it's the Romans' turn to win a battle. I just because if Hannibal, I don't think Hannibal's in it. I don't know if anyone's walked on Rome before, like an enemy has, but because I think the worst would be over. Like if Hannibal takes Rome, isn't that kind of like it? I guess it's not it, because Rome will still rally around and come back and get him, but uh because he wins his next battle heading towards Rome. That's it. He'll be in Rome. There's nothing going to stop him. But I don't know, guys. You tell me what you think. This is pretty impressive, right? Like that was a master. That was genius. And just getting to that position to begin with, of going through the mountains and that marsh, the swamplands. It's pretty crazy stuff, man. Like, and the reward at the end of that was pretty impressive. I mean, he basically kept most of his army intact. You know, he probably lost just as many men walking through the marsh and everything as he did in that battle. I don't know. But anyways, guys, please hit that like and subscribe. I hope you guys like this video. I hope you guys are excited about and more future episodes. And yeah, very interested to see what's to come. Someone said the series is not even done yet, so we might be in another situation to where we kind of keep continuing this down. I'm not sure. What we got going on next? What episode? We're on episode 6 right now. What is episode 7? What's the hell? I can't even read. Episode Why Didn't Hannibal Attack Rome? Part 7. I guess he doesn't attack Rome. Dang, that kind of ruined it for me. I don't like spoilers at all, man. Why? So I guess I guess he's not attacking against Rome tomorrow. Tomorrow. I mean, back then. So I'm sure we're gonna hear exactly why, But anyways, guys, like, subscribe, catch you guys in future videos. Appreciate you guys watching. Have a great evening, great night, and all that fun stuff. And always a good time watching videos with you guys. You guys are awesome. I appreciate all the comments and everything. And it's a good read, and it's kind of cool to know like other interesting facts that I didn't think of throughout watching this, or facts that they didn't say that a lot of you guys kind of mentioned too sometimes. But anyways, guys, thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support. And I'll see you guys some more. You guys have a good night.